Credit, credit, who's got credit? Well, we all try to work on our credit score. With us now is Michael Diaz, and he is a specialist in that area. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Very good, Donna. Thank you.
Good. What goes into somebody's credit score?
Oh gosh, well, we know about FICO, which is the method they use to calculate scores. But what really is that? There's a lot of different things that go into someone's credit score. Most basically, there are 5 components. It's their payment history, the length of the payment, the type of credit they have, the amount they owe, and as well as whether or not they've had new credit. Now, they use different versions of this formula, get very complicated, but those are basically the things you have to pay attention to. One example is on your credit card debt. Most people don't realize that the amount of your used credit can actually work against you. So you have a credit card, say, for $1,000, and you from the store to buy a couch, and you get that. Next thing on your credit report shows a $1,000 credit line with $1,000 used, or $900. That's actually going to blow up your credit report. And
you just wanted a sofa, right? That's it. They offered you the credit card. They said, "Oh, you want to put this on a store credit card?" You open up the store credit card, thinking that you're doing yourself a good favor, and you're really not.
Yeah, because 2 things happen. You may actually have too much used credit line. You really want to keep these down below 30%.
Okay.
Of the available
credit.
credit.
So use a third of it.
A third of your credit card balance.
Interesting.
And the second thing is that also hits as a new credit on your credit report. So too many of these can hurt your credit score. So you're thinking you're going to get that great rebate or discount from the store, not getting on the price. Ultimately, you end up paying more in terms of higher interest rates, higher insurance rates, and other things that if it actually affects your score negatively.
I think fifth grade, instead of teaching kids now how to write a resume, they should teach kids about their credit score. I honestly do. Yeah. I think that it's not taught. They talk about savings, they talk about checking accounts, but they're not talking about these conversations, and I think they're important to have, even in a fun way. If you make it fun along the way, then you don't have to get in trouble as you get older and be like, oh, now what? Now the damage has been done, how do I fix it?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of this stuff actually is counterintuitive. People think, oh, I'm going to close my accounts. I'm going to fix my credit. I'm going to start paying off my cards and close them out. Well, we just talked about the balances. That actually can have a negative effect on it. And another thing to people is, what's your score? Well, the reality is you probably have 1,000 credit scores out there. Everyone has a different version of FICO. Matter of fact, they're rolling out FICO 8 very soon. Right. I've got a book about this thick on credit on my desk that I have to keep going back because the nuances can be very, very complicated. But ultimately, this can be very confusing for the consumer, and they really don't have a good basic understanding of their credit, other than paying the bills on time.
So now what you do is you are a specialist in this area. So when somebody calls you, you're basically like their consultant, their financial consultant. You're kind of helping them to say, okay, let's take a look at the damage. This is what can be done. You can hire me to help you, or I can teach you how to help yourself.
Yeah, that's effectively what we do. We differentiate ourselves a little bit that we're not product specific. There's a lot of people out there you call up and they're going to push you right into whatever the service they specialize in there. And I think that's the wrong approach. Everyone has a different situation and there is no magic bullet. You really have to look at the overall situation of why you have come to me in the first place, whatever the problem is. We get to the root of the heart of the problem. For example, a lot of the debt relief services, they're not going to explain to you the serious consequences of going to them. And they're also going to put you in there where it may not be, could work for a lot of people, and it may not work for you. It may not be the right thing, and it may not address the root problem. So I think you really, the best way to approach this is looking at your credit score and your financial situation to see what really is there and what mix of solutions, and evaluating the pros and cons, because what there may be more than one way to achieve it, and a lot of the solutions based on how you personally feel about money and what type of resources you have.
And you're like a knowledge fiend. Like, I know one thing about you, and you are like tireless when it comes to learning what's happening at the moment that it's happening. Like, you're like the sponge. You got to soak it all up. But that's a benefit to the people that you help, because they're not the ones that are having to do the research, because you've done the research for them.
Well, it is an evolving process, how the credit bureaus handle situations, how they calculate. It's constantly evolving, so you really have to be on top of it. And everyone's situation is slightly different, and then usually opens up little tidbits of information. And the FICO score, quite honestly, I don't understand it. I have a good understanding. I have a basic understanding, but the math behind it can be so tricky and so again, the word counterintuitive comes in there. that you really have to do a lot of research. You really have to understand, and then ultimately just get back to the basics of just good cash flow, good budget, that type of stuff.
Yeah, not overspending, right? When you decide to help a person, what is the worst case scenario? Can somebody come to you and they are like down to 92 cents? Will you still help them?
The reality is you can help everybody.
Okay.
Everybody is fixable. The question is, what's the pain going to be to turn a leaf? But ultimately, you have to have a plan of action, and you have to make some tough decisions. But once you get to that point and accept this is your situation and this is how you're going to get out of it, then that's when the stress goes away.
You're giving people hope, right?
Yeah, but ultimately there are tools out there, and listen, the bankruptcy word is the one to be. Bankruptcy can be your friend, and for a lot of people that is the right way to go because it puts an end to the problems. People who kind of avoid it often, they'll end up just push away the day of reckoning, and they never really get out of it. They spend the rest of their life in here, where the code was written for people, who something happened to them. There's a situation, they can't pay the debt. It puts a stop on everything, so you can figure out how you're going to get out of there and work with the creditors to figure out whatever that may be in terms of ending it, and then you have the clean slate.
And sometimes people that have bad credit doesn't mean that they're bad people. Like you said, sometimes circumstances or challenges happen in life, especially when the economy changed, and people just get themselves in trouble.
Well, one of the biggest things is medical bills. Nothing the person did. It wasn't financial mismanagement. It was something happened in life with them that they're faced with this incredible debt that they don't know how to deal with.
Or loss of jobs.
Loss of jobs.
I know you've helped a lot of different people that I know, so you're a good egg. You're one of the good ones, Michael Diaz.
Thank you.
And how do people reach out to you? What's your company name?
Well, the company is Island-Wide Credit Counselors,
Okay.
and our website is lifeafterdebtli.com.
Life After
And I'm
Debt.
also on Facebook, Michael Diaz, or Island-Wide Credit Counsel is the company page.
And you also make a mina empanada. You're like a master barbecuer. I'm just saying, you could get your credit fixed. You could go have a nice empanada. It could all be good.
Well, we break bread and
Great.
eat to celebrate the turning of the page.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. If you need help with your credit, I consider Michael a good friend of mine, and you could reach out to him with confidence. Thanks for watching Live It Up.